And they've made it through to the Go for Lols and Sundays to all the way up to the semi-final. So top 4 team when it comes to at least the weekly events. And something interesting to note, the SK lineup, Ocelot is missing from the 5.
Yeah, I just asked him right before the game, and it appears that he is traveling, so that's why he's not around. So he has been replaced by looks like Blorn. So the bans are coming out, and they don't seem very targeted. I mean, all of those champions are just generally strong. I know that Daedrian actually plays a wait, is it? No, it's Kevin actually. That plays a very good Riven, and we've got a Jax ban as well. So Nautilus, Ari, Twisted Fate, and Jax are all just really strong champions, and they've been banned a lot the past week or two, as far as I've seen in casting and watching.
Nothing really out of the ordinary, other than seeing Riven. Riven's a slightly unusual one. You know, Riven, of course, is a very, very powerful champion, has the ability to completely control team fights. Great damage, and once they get a little bit of sustain in the form of that Vamsept or Bloodthirster, it's also very powerful in that top lane. But you don't see them banned too much. You know, generally it's either a counter pick or, you know, it's generally a counter pick is what I'm trying to say. So, first pick is going to go the way of SK Gaming. And we're going to see exactly who they are going to actually lock in. And we're going to see the standard support meta that we have been seeing so often. And Soraka instantly locked in.
Yeah, it seems like the sustain lane down bottom has been coming back lately. And it seems to be doing very well with it. I personally like the Janna times better because those bot lanes were way more aggressive. But, you know, it works with Soraka.
I was a little bit disappointed not to see more of the Lulu or Nunu or Lux combinations. You know, after all the healers took a bit of a nerf, the teams flirted with those aggressive bot lanes, but didn't really follow it up with anything, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think in the US, like, Lulu got extremely popular, and they all thought she was overpowered. But in Europe, she kind of went away with a fizz. It wasn't very. Lulu's godlike. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Ended up being picked up fairly often for like an AP mid, but again, even in that regard, it's slightly sort of a, you know, throwing a spanner in the works. So it's not a default AP mid. So we see I Love's Dub Dread. He has locked in that Urgot, and we see Lee Sin. So I'm happy to see that. We haven't actually seen a Lee Sin for quite a while. We've seen him being played, I think, in one game yesterday, but other than that, no Lee Sins for quite a long time.
Well, we've seen him banned a lot though. People really don't want to deal with him, and he gets banned a lot. But it'll be interesting to see him in this game. I wonder if he's jungler or top. He is at the spot with the smite on it at the moment, but that can be swapped out, and he does very well in top too, especially in certain matchups. So we're seeing a Nocturne and a Varus. Now I really like the Varus pick because Varus. I haven't seen him too much, and he can do so well if he gets his stacks up on someone. He do loads of damage, and it's always fun to watch him, in my opinion, because of all his skill shots.
Yeah, it's a very high skill cap carry because, you know, the majority of the remainder of your carries, Graves, for example, Tristana, Misfortune, it's very much just right-click to win. Yes, you've got your abilities, and yes, you know, positioning is key. But with Varus, if you don't get those stacks up of that Blighted Quiver and land your piercing arrow effectively, you're not going to get the maximum out of that champion and that character. I find it quite interesting because Varus is a pretty good counter to a healing lane. You know, he's able to, with those well, I think it's called Hail of Arrows, it reduces healing by 50%, the Blighted Ground or whatever it's called. And there's not a lot of healing coming out from the other side. So we've seen him picked up against a Soraka yesterday or day before yesterday, and it worked pretty effectively. But this time Soraka's on the team of Varus, so that's quite interesting.
Oh, and we see a Darius pickup. That's going to be very fun. I really like Darius from watching him. I heard that he's not fun to play with or against, but we'll see about that. Oh. And Galio and Cannon are going to be doing very well together if they can sync up their ultis. They haven't locked Cannon in yet, Cannon is a very strong pick against Darius, or at least that's what I've been noticing if I played against Darius. It's mostly because Cannon is ranged and Darius he only has his apprehend for a gap closer, but with the lightning rush, Biggie God will just, or whoever's playing Cannon actually, I think it's Haxer, he will just press E and he'll actually get a Mark of the Storm on Darius and then just casually lightning rush away. So Cannon does really well against Darius, and it'll be fun to see that matchup, I assume.
I'm very nervous about the team for SK at the moment because they're very, very squishy. You can blow up Kassadin, Darius, Varus, Soraka, and Nocturne as well. Even if Nocturne goes for that Frozen Mallet build, he's not the most tanky champion in the collection. In comparison to Urgot builds tanky, Galio gets tanky, you've got the armor buff from Taric. Lee Sin will be on a similar par to Nocturne, but he's got that Iron Will, which is going to give him a damage shield as well. So they've got a very big assassin dive, get that kills type of team. And if they don't pick up an early advantage, I think that my Brownies LoL should be able to pick this one up.
Yeah, they have a very good team composition in my opinion. They've got loads of CC. The only one that doesn't have CC actually. Well, I was going to say that Lee Sin doesn't have CC, but he's got a slow and he's got a kickback.
Yeah, they've all got crowd control in some way.
Some very good plays with that. It also knocks up people if you hit them with the flying person. So that's even more AoE CC if you can land it perfectly.
So we're going to have to see how this plays out. I'm a little bit nervous for SK Gaming, if I'm completely honest. So let's see how our lane matchups are going to play out. We're going to see Blorn playing Darius in the top lane against Pidgeygod, and he's going to be playing Kennen. Mid lane, Kevin is going to be coming up against Haxar, and that's a Kassadin versus Galio. I think that's going to be pretty boring, and I think Galio may be able to put some pressure down with those resolute smites and gusts early on. Bottom lane...
yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, bottom lane, Nif and Candy Panda, Varus and Soraka coming up against I Love Dubs Dread, who's going to be Urgot, and Duex on Taric.
So it looks like Candy Panda actually got 15 armor penetration in his room page. So apparently he's got something up his sleeves. Because most people actually use the full-on AD page for AD carries, and we've got 25 armor pen on... wow, how do you pronounce that name? I'm just going to call him Dubstred. But he's got 25 armor penetration, but that's actually fairly logical on Urgot, because you usually get a Brutalizer, and I can't quite remember, does he have inbuilt armor penetration?
He does. With the Corrosive Charge, it's going to reduce the armor by a percentage. But just to make note of what you said for Candy Panda's armor pen runes, it's to counteract the Shatter from Taric. Taric's going to be giving that passive armor buff, and of course Urgot is very tanky and builds tanky. So it makes a bit of sense to pick that up. I do want to just show everybody the bracket before we get closer to this game actually going live. So let's pull this up on screen. I think that's lined up correctly. Yes, it is. So for everybody that doesn't know, this is of course the Play RaidCall LoL Cup number 2, brought to you by Fnatic, shoutcasted by Chaos TV, myself, Quickshot, and C-Zone. And here's the bracket, guys. It is single elimination. And I'm fairly sure that the final is actually going to be best of 3, but I will get that confirmed.
Yes, it is best of 3 actually, and it's planned to start at
10 p.m.
10 p.m. Yes.
So we're going to be following game number 1, which is SK Gaming versus My Brownies. I believe the Boulder team is the highest seeded in this tournament, and of course the other stream is going to be covering, I believe, Na'Vi versus Exordium. So pop that up, guys. Keep an eye on it. Jump up the viewer numbers. Just before we get into this game, we do have to throw a very quick advert break up, so let's do a 1-minute break, and when we're back, SK take on My Brownies. So, for everybody that doesn't have ad blocker, you are all evil, nasty people. I need to double check my overlay is correct, and I think it is.
I just noticed something very interesting. Biggie God, with his Ganon, actually has Mercenary, which means he gets 24 bonus gold on champion kills and assists.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, he's got 21 in defense. I'm going to mention that when we get back.
Yeah, good. 30 seconds left on my counter.
Really cool.
I think the fact that he's taken that mercenary for the bonus gold is he is expecting to get probably early ganks or early pressure. But I suppose we should wait for the actual people to come back before we say that. So
yeah, probably.
Full screen camera. Oh, sorry about the blinding light, guys. This is my game loading up. And yes, we are into the actual game. So 10 seconds left on my countdown. Oh no. Duex rocking the flaming Tarek skin, if we can put it that way.
It's fabulous. It's awesome. I really like that skin, to be honest.
So the only one that's letting... two people letting the side down. Darius and Galio. Neither of them wearing skins.
Oh yeah, and Soraka does really count as a skin because it's horrible.
To a certain extent, I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I must admit, though, Arctic Warfare Kennen is a huge favorite of mine. I actually own that skin as well. It always reminds me...
I really wanted to buy it, but I just missed the sale.
It always reminds me of Call of Duty, where you got the digital and the blue tiger camouflage for your guns. So if anybody's played COD online, you know exactly what's plotting there. For everybody that's asking on chat, Ocelot is unavailable tonight, as I believe he's moving or traveling or... He's on his way somewhere.
So, for the people that didn't have AdBlock, I noticed something when going over Runes and Masteries. Piggy Gold actually went for 21 in defense, and he got the Mercenary up to rank 3, which means that he gets 24 bonus gold on kills and assists, which is very interesting because I think that's the first time I've ever seen that on someone.
It's not very often, and you know what, Kennen, when they get to these team fights, the Slicing Maelstrom and the Idol of Durand are going to stack up so powerfully. It's going to be very difficult to not pick up all that bonus gold. So if we go for a very aggressive high kill game, it's going to pay off, but that of course remains to be seen. So for everybody that has joined us, welcome, welcome. I am Quickshot. C-Zone's in the background. Oh, the Hadouken does land, followed up by... the Q, the resonating strike. Exhaust has been blown as well. Kevin is going to flash over the wall. A flash coming out from Dubs Dread. He's going to carry on chasing. Ignite now goes down. One more attack. And first blood does go to Rambo Phoenix on Lee Sin. Really nicely done, in fact.
And Daedream... Oh, wow. Nice Q there. What was he called?
The Duskbringer.
Duskbringer, yes. So, everyone's going to be recalling. They're going to get some wards or health pots, something like that. And the first blood is on the jungler, so he will be clearing his jungle way faster, Rambo Phoenix is. And he's going to start as his waves and then go for red, most likely.
And look at what Kennen has done. Pidgeygod has fallen backwards. I don't know if that's Piggy or Pidgey, but I'm going with Pidgey like it's the Pokemon. He's gone back and picked up 2 wards really early on. So that's just going to help him in lane. And look at the potions coming out from Urgot. 4 health potions, a ward, and a mana potion. Compliments of that first blood bonus gold.
And there was actually 24 bonus gold on the kill there already for Piggy God. So he's going to have even more gold from that first kill.
A very good start coming out from My Brownies LOL. The fact that the gold went to Rambo Phoenix's Lee Sin, it's also a worrying thought, because Lee Sin is quite a snowball champion. If he's able to get some items and get ahead, generally he can stay ahead. So whether or not that's going to change anything, look at the damage and the pressure. A very nice split coming out. I love Dubstrade's taking a lot of breathing. Summoner heal's been blown. Dazzle goes out. Now Candy Panda may be the one that's in trouble. One more Star Core, maybe all that's required. Nif is trying to pick up this kill. Summoner heal's now been blown. Exhaust onto Nif, and if Nif doesn't get away, he's going to be pushing backwards, but I love Dubstrade, just too much damage, and all of those summoner spells blown on the bottom lane.
So at top, they are fighting each other, and Piggy got actually getting really low, which is strange considering he should be a tiny bit ahead. He's actually level 1 while Blorn is level 2. That's very strange because he should be ahead in experience because of that first blood.
Well, look at the creep wave. Strange. He is normally he is about a full creep wave ahead.
That's true.
Sitting on 12 CS to the 5 of Piggy. But of course, Pidgey does have another wave and a half. So let's see how he farms up this lane. And then we can see nice Thundering Shuriken followed up by the Electrical Surge. Blorn's running pretty high armor pen runes. He does land the Apprehend and lands an auto attack. Decimate comes out as well. And wow, the burst damage at this low level coming out from Blorn is really hard for Pidgey to deal with.
So Daedron is moving up for a possible gank in mid. He is going to move all the way around, and the lane is very pushed, so this could be very successful. In the meantime, Rambo Phoenix is also moving down bottom for a possible gank, so it will be pretty hard to catch all the action. They are going to go in mid, and Axor's just going to casually fly towards his tower. Will be fine, use his speed up there. Well done by him.
Something to point out as well, Hacksaw was given the first blue buff. So, Lee Sin, he did put it down. He does land the Tempest and the Cripple now. Daedron is going to get the Fear proc off. Is it going to be enough to save him? Very, very wisely flashes over the wall, afraid of the damage that's going to come out from Galio. And we're going to have to keep an eye. Oh, look at the damage. Apprehend, Ignite. Piggygod's taken so much beating. But compliments of the stun, he does actually get away with his life.
You got really close with the bleed and the Ignite though. I think that the health pot pretty much saved him there.
What is the damage on that bleed actually? So Decimate deals physical damage in the area. The Crippling Strike reduced by 1 second for each stack of Hemorrhage. Oh, here we go. Attacks and abilities cause 18 to 28 magic damage over 5 seconds. And it stacks. Wow, that's huge bleed actually.
Yes it is, and he also gets 5% movement speed, so that's going to help him a lot too. That's the thing about Darius, you have to keep fighting in team fights to be able to catch up with people. And that's actually the biggest beef that pro players have with the champion. He doesn't have an escape or something like that. He doesn't have actual defensive spells. And that's the reason that that the pro players in
we do see a gank coming down on the bottom line. The Duskbringer does land, and then Dubstraight is going to fall all the way backwards. No summoner spells available, means he's not going to be able to get away. Rambo Phoenix is moving forward. Exhaust has been blown on him. He's going to be trying to put some pressure on, and I think had that exhaust not been available, he may have been able to chase for a kill. So SK pick up their first kill in the game. And Pidgeygod opting to go for an amplifying tome as opposed to picking up that cloth armor, which I think would have been the smarter pick.
Well, I think he's trying to get his Hextech Revolver as quickly as possible so that he actually has sustain. That will help him a lot against Darius, because that's the one thing. That's the other thing that Darius kind of misses. He doesn't have natural sustain, and because Pigygod is ranged, he will be able to harass a lot. And if he gets harassed back, he will have sustain if he gets his Hextech Revolver.
So he has a little bit away. He's going to pick up he's going to need to pick up a little bit more gold. And I think that bonus ability power, he's putting a bit more damage onto Blorn, but Blorn should be able to pick up, you know, an execution ability with that Noxian Guillotine. If they go in a straight up fight, I think the burst from Blorn will be higher than the burst from Pigygod. Primarily because of the fact that it's mostly armor, and the armor on Pidgey is slightly lower than where it should be. Blorn is running 6 and then 15% armor pen, so gonna hit really, really hard. And of course his ultimate's true damage.
Yeah, the thing is that if Pigygod plays it well... Oh wait, there's gonna be a gank right now, and they are gonna be going for Blorn real quickly. Now there's no level 6 on Pigygod, but they will be fine in picking up that kill. Well played there, hit all their spells. But what I was gonna say is that if Pigygod plays it well, he will be able to stun Blorn almost
Immediately.
I was going to say constantly. There we go. So what I reckon he should be able to do is, if he gets apprehended, he will have his lightning rush proc, and then he can, like, if he gets as soon as he gets the stun, he can just walk away and let his ultimate stun again, and he'll be out of range because Darius can only use the apprehend once every few seconds. There is going to be a fight in the jungle here. Daedrium going for a invade, and they are going to be able to pick up that kill. Kevin ulting in through the red buff, and it is going to give him a red buff, which is not great on casting him. It will help a bit because you can rift walk into there.
But we do see Pigygod coming in from the jungle. If Haxor's going to go for that Idol of Duran, it may be enough. Ignite goes down. Idol needed to come out, but the silence was more than enough. Electrical Surge plus the W is going to lock Kevin up just for a few seconds. One more Thundering Shuriken is all it needs. Come on, get the energy up. Is Pidgey going to be able to land? And he lands the stun through the wall. 1 or 2 more auto attacks. Kevin is going to have enough mana for another Rift Walk. Soraka's going to get in range for the heal. And wow, so unlucky. I think Haxor delayed that Idol of Duran far too long.
Yeah, he was probably trying to get into the tower range, but I don't think that was really worth it, to be honest. was kind of...
If he'd actually been able to catch Cassidy with the Idol of Durand, then Piggy would have been able to jump straight into the fight with that slicing maelstrom of his. But you're 100% right. He was trying to pull him into range of the tower and just forgot about the silence coming out from that orb. What is this Q called? The Null Sphere. And we do see another gank on the bottom lane. Paranoia into Duskbringer. I love Dub's Dread is going to get blown up. Now they've turned their attention to Duex. He's going to get taken down as well. And SK Gaming with a very nice double kill on the bottom lane.
So, at the moment, if I'm looking at Unt right now, so there is going to be a Hextech Revolver on the Biggie God, and he will be able to sustain quite well in the lane there, as I was saying earlier. And to be honest, it's kind of looking like SK might well lose this, but... Oh wait, actually, no, they're ad.
Yes,
sorry, I'm screwing up.
SK on the left-hand side.
Yes.
So they've had a very good early game.
They are ahead at the moment. I'm not sure who has the better late game, because the thing is that my brownies have very good team fighting capabilities with that out of the run and the slicing maelstrom, but their champions don't scale as well as SK's do. I mean, Gassadin obviously scales really well, Darius scales fairly well. Oh, actually, we missed a kill there. Or I missed a
that
kill.
is happening. I'm going to have to rewind to watch that one. So now we're going to see exactly how that happens. Blawn looking at Pidgey. Pidgey's got very little energy. Lands the Apprehend. Decimate lands. That's going to apply the slow. 1 or 2 more auto attacks. And that's going to be more than enough with the Noxian Guillotine to pick it up.
So in the middle, there's going to be a fight right now. You're almost there, I assume.
Moving up.
Not too much happening.
Yeah, but Kevin Haxel, while the top lane fight was going on, so... Oh, Ignite goes down into Haxel, though. Does he actually get away with his life? Yes, he does. So direct the camera and fast forward. Are you back up to real time?
At real time, yes. People in chat are... Someone in the chat is asking if it's best of 1. Yes, it is best of 1 all the way up to the finals. The finals are best of 3. But what I was gonna say is that Gassadin is obviously a very good, very well scaling champion. He's one of the hardest scaling champions in the game, actually. Darius and Noxin both scale decently. Ferris scales decently. Soraka is probably the best scaling support in the game. But on the other side, they don't scale that well, but they have a lot of CC, so they will be able to team fight very well. It's
going to come down to tankability versus damage, because Varus is going to hit harder than Urgot does. Cassidon's going to eventually hit harder than Galio does. And of course, Darius has way more burst than what Kanan can put down, instantaneously, a couple of auto attacks. But whether or not my brownies are going to be able to get tanky enough to survive the burst. Now we see both teams setting up. There's a gank on the bottom lane. Paranoid is going to go down. Dubstraight is going to flash away, but he does have that Duskbringer on him. And we may see Blawn running straight into Rambo Phoenix. Tempest is going to go out as well as the cripple. Slicing Maelstrom's down. Blawn is going to go down in that top lane. He may be able to pick up a kill, though. Was thinking about that guillotine and may have actually been enough. But unfortunately gets killed before he does.
So a dragon is being picked up by SK right now, really well coordinated, a great call, and actually they're going to be picking up a kill on the Dubstrad. Wow, I did not see that coming, actually.
I missed that as well, so I'm going to fast forward just once to see the kill in the bottom lane. I didn't actually anticipate the burst coming out, so Dubstrad is going to be moving up to this lane. He's immediately blown up. Kevin and Candypan are just putting all the hurting down. And it turns out I've got the stuck gold thing once again. I think if you rewind, even with backspace while it's on, that's what breaks the problem. Let's try jump to live. Will it remove? No, unfortunately it doesn't. So the kill in the bottom lane, that leads to the dragon and the tower kill. SK Gaming look very, very strong in this first game and the best of 1.
What I was saying is that it was a great call to go for Baron, actually. They knew that that Rambo Phoenix was top, and they immediately went for Dragon. That was really well done. You don't see low-level teams do that. They don't realize that it's a great opportunity if your top lane gets ganked.
Yep, it is so true. Always playing to your advantages, always playing to, map awareness and knowing where the junglers are, knowing where the players are. It makes a very big difference. So SK Gaming 3,000 gold ahead, 4 kills and a tower and dragon as well. it's the point in the game where unless my brownies slow the rot, they're just going to fall further and further behind, and probably going to get shut down. So we do see Kevin setting up in this top lane. While that's happening, we do see a fight between Lee Sin and Nocturne. Rambo Phoenix is now the one that's on the run. He actually has that red buff. He's trying to get away. Kevin's coming in with that Rift Walk, moving closer and closer. Is he going to go for the dive? It doesn't look like it. Not this time round. Oh, we do have an engagement coming out. Look at the burst on Pidgeygod from that Null Sphere and the Force Pulse. They do immediately blow him up, though, so Dedrian goes down. And a nice combination actually coming out. Oh, Kevin is going to be pushing onto Pidgeygod. Manages to get out of range of the Apprehend. Braun's going to turn around. The Guillotine has been landed onto Phoenix. The damage over time coming out from his passive is going to be enough to pick up that kill. One more Acid Hunter. Kevin's trying to run away. Position reverse is going to lock Nif down. Now Pidgeygod's looking for the stun. That's what he's trying to apply. But I love Dub's Dread as well as Pidgey. Very low on mana, low on health. Another kill going the way. So small advantages here. 1 for 2 trade at the end of the day. And my brownies LoL not too bad actually.
Yeah, and as I've said, they've got really good team fighting. So games are never lost. You can always win with a good team fight, and they have great team fighting potential with all that CC they have. And they are also very tanky. So I'm very much looking forward to the team fights. I think they will be great to watch. So, and yeah.
Oh, look at the damage coming up from Kevin. He's so low. The Chain of Corruption comes up from Candy Panda. A couple of extra auto attacks, and Kevin picks up another kill. 3-1-1 on Kassadin. And he's starting to look very, very fed.
Yeah, and the fat Kassadin is not something you want to play against because, as I said, he does scale extremely well. And he's got an Abyssal Scepter already. He's now going for his Catalyst, and that will probably go into a Rod of Ages. That's really fairly interesting. Usually you see Kassadin's going for a Catalyst and sometimes a Zero the Goddess as well before they go for other items. So that's very interesting to see him going for a Abyssal Scepter first.
With regards to that, we've noticed they've stolen 2 blue buffs already. So I think the mindset behind is they've had very good blue buff control. Kevin has been running around with that for quite a while. He does get caught by random feint very, very slowly. The exhaust goes down, so he's going to be using that Rift Walk to try get away. Paranoia now being used by Dedra, he's jumping forward. Now we've got the Slicing Maelstrom moving. There's some fights going on all over the place. Kassadin jumps back in to pick up a kill onto Hexar. Now the Decimate being used by Blorn. He picks up the kill. He did use the Apprehend though, so he's going to land one more attack. Position reverse is going to hold him under the tower just for a little bit. Takes a couple more tower hits. And SK Gaming still coming out the better in this fight, 1-2. One more Acid Hunter, so close.
That was really close.
The timer on that corrosive charge
is that Bloom did have his ultimate, and Duax would have died if it wasn't for that position reverser.
Yep.
I think he pretty much saved his support there, so really well done.
Yeah, really nicely played, but the aggression coming out from SK is just too much for my brownies to handle right now. They're slowly falling a bit further behind. Currently on 5,000 gold. It was 3,000 a little while ago. So the gap is just growing ever so much, you know. And look at Darius. He's got the Phage completed. He's got the Hex Drinker. 130 CS to the 86 CS of Pidgeygod's Kennen. So it's a big, big difference. And you couple the kills into that. It's worrying.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure if it's the difference in skill or the matchup that's winning Blorn lane. I think it's the difference in skill. No offense to Pidgeygod, obviously, but I don't know. I also felt like Cannon beat him.
Well,
oh no.
You know what? The potential's there. The problem is Blorn played very aggressively right from the start. So what Pidgeygod should have done was played a bit more defensively, not use so many potions, focused a little bit more on last hitting under the tower. And it may have set him up for a slightly better mid-game. But, you know, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Hindsight is always 20/20 vision, isn't it? Oh, look at the damage coming out. 1 Null Sphere plus Force Pulse drops Pidgeygod to 1/3 life. And the Force Pulse alone drops Rambo Phoenix to 66% of his HP bar.
Yeah, well, Yeah, he is very fat, obviously. He's got 99 CS, which is not too much, but he is a Kassadin, and Kassadin is extremely hard to farm with. So we can't blame him for that, but with 4 kills and 2 assists, he does have a load of gold. He's actually at 5,800 gold right now, which is not the highest in the game, actually. Candy Panda is at a higher amount of gold because he does have 40 CS more. But he's higher than anyone in the enemy team, and it shows. He does loads of damage. And
if I remember correctly, I think it was with you who we were talking about, but the item of Abyssal Scepter, going for that over the item of the Rabadon's Death Cap, there was a very, very good example of just how powerful it is that magic resist reduction, you know, around the 20-minute mark. One Null Sphere dropped Lee Sin, who has a Phage and Merc Treads, to, you know, a third of his life, and that Force Pulse, it is maxed out, of course, but the magic resist reduction is so powerful at this stage in the game.
Yes, indeed, and one thing I wanted to say about Piggy-God not doing extremely well, he is Ganon, and Ganon doesn't really need that much gold, because his Slicing Maelstrom already makes him a force to be reckoned with. The only thing he really needs to have is a bit of tankiness, in my opinion. So it's not too bad. Could have been better there.
What I would like to see on Pidgeot is an Abyssal Scepter of his own, because the magic resist is going to help against Kevin's Kassadin, and of course the ability. Oh, look at that instant idol of Durand onto Kevin. They really wanted to pick that kill up, but now they don't have that big team fight ability, and they're jumping into one that would have been slightly more beneficial. Slicing Maelstrom does come out, but an instant split coming out from SK Gaming. A flash over the wall from Pidgeot. That's going to be able to put some damage down. The Paranoia dives all the way backwards. Rambo Phoenix is trying to take on Nif in the background. Yeah, he's going to be able to survive just a little bit longer. Rambo Phoenix surviving as long as he can. He's going to need that W shield of his to stay alive. And it was a 1-for-2, and not a bad fight for my Brownies LOL. But I think they popped that idol of Durand very, you know, that felt personal. That's what it felt like. Kevin dove in there and they just went, nope, you are not getting away this time.
Actually, I think the reason that SK didn't get completely destroyed was Nef. His silence on Piggy-God actually made him use the Slicing Maelstrom way too late. That was a great silence, and he really should get props for that, because that was amazing.
And it's good that you actually point that out, because the silence from Nif and the silence from Kevin are going to be able to cancel out the Idol of Durand. You can also see the Chain of Corruption if it's, you know, if it's shot before the Idol of Durand is cast and it jumps over to him in a stationary. I think that'll cancel it as well, unless it's a snare. The Chain of Corruption, is it a snare or a stun? Immobilize. Okay, so sorry, that's not going to do it. But the Fear proc from Dedrian, that may be enough as well.
Okay, so I just heard that we are going to be watching Natus Fins. Oh wow, he picks up a kill. Sorry for not calling that one. But it looks like we are going to cast Natus Vincere after this, or Finkira. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I say Vincere. I say Vincere because there's an N in there. I don't know if how it's meant to be said because it's Eastern European, but Na'Vi. Let's just go with Na'Vi. Who are they going to be playing? Do you know? Na'Vi versus?
It's going to be either Millennium or Acer. They are still playing, it seems like. I'll verify that in a bit. I think that game is currently being casted on the other channel by Matus.
Well, having a look on the other channel at the moment, they're busy covering Millennium versus Acer. So the winner of that will face off against Na'Vi.
And we will be casting that one.
Awesome, awesome.
Actually, I think it's Finkira because it's Latin, I think.
Well, anyway, either way, Na'Vi. Na'Vi's their name. Looking at the gold difference, 7,000. Let's see how that's split at the moment. Mid lane, Kassadin, 7,000 gold to the 5,500 of Haxar's Galio. Top lane, you're looking at 7,000 GP on Darius. Oh, we do see a pull coming forward. That was compliments of the Apprehend. Instantly using that Slicing Maelstrom. It was enough to pick up the kill on Varus, but not really covering the rest of SK Gaming. Noxian Guillotine is going to go down. The cooldown was reset, so it's available once more. Darius now goes down, and another 1 versus 2. A long range Hadouken coming out from Rambo Phoenix. He chases Kevin. Not going to be able to pick up a kill, though. And they didn't really combo their abilities too much. You know, that was... Oh, the Q just missing from Phoenix. It's Resonating Strike's the second one, Sonic Wave, but I just call it Hadouken. That's what it reminds me of.
Well, okay, so I think they did their spells well. The only thing that I thought was really bad, well, not really bad, but wasn't as good as it could have been, was the Precision Reverser, because he was, oh wow, they're actually going to be picking up Kevin here. Kevin going a little bit too far there. I don't know exactly what it was thinking there, but it looked funny.
He was trying to put some damage. I think he was trying to pick up the kill onto Pidgeot actually. But very nice reaction from My Brownies LoL, and they've kept the gold difference at 5,000. So yes, it is still 5k gold, but that number gets smaller and smaller and smaller in terms of importance the longer the game goes on. So I like what I'm seeing for My Brownies LoL. If they can keep this pressure up, if they can keep coming out ahead in each of these team fights, it may set them up pretty decently to pick up a Dragon or a Baron, and that's going to close the gold gap just a little bit.
So what I was going to point out, actually, it was the Precision Reverse of Haxor, or not Haxor, Dubthread. That was kind of off because he used it on Candy Panda. Candy Panda was already getting CC'd by the Slicing Maelstrom. I think they could have done way better with the Precision Reverse if they had used it on Kevin and picked him up earlier. They did pick him up in the end, but it could have been slightly better in the team fight, I think.
Well, I think there's a little bit of pressure. There's a little bit, you know, the team is behind. It's pretty apparent SK have been in sort of the driving seat. So My Brownies, maybe a little bit of the nerves getting to them at the moment. But you can see the tankiness is now starting to come into play. Frozen Heart's completed, Abyssal Scepter on Galio. You've got the Negatron Cloak and the Blasting one on Kennen. So starting to hit that slightly tankier point. Both supports wearing... Oh, the Chain of Corruption goes up. That's going to lock up Phoenix. Position Reverser is going to put Dub's Dread in position, but he ends up getting silenced, so that gets cancelled. He will still have all the stats, though. A very, very nice Maelstrom comes out. Unfortunately, Idol of Duran very late. Compliments of that silencer once again. Now, Blawn may be the first one to go down. Finally a kill in this fight. Now they've turned their attention to Deadrian. Another very good fight. The slow lands onto Kevin as well. They might be able to pick him up. My Brownies all picking up two fairly easy kills, you know, looking at how the fight went. And that might lead to a Baron buff.
Yeah, actually, I think this is the strength of their team composition. They have so much CC, but they are also very tanky. And because they are so tanky, they can keep doing damage all the freaking time. And SK doesn't seem to be having an answer for that, because they're not doing... I mean, they're doing a lot of damage, but they're not doing that much damage. They're doing just too little damage to be able to go straight through the tankiness. So Baron is getting picked up at the moment, and there will not be a fight for this, I think. SK Candy Panda did try to go for that, but he couldn't do it on his own. And their two most tanky characters are were actually dead and have just revived. They are moving up, but Baron does get picked up by My Brownies. There we go. So that's going to give them another bit of gold, and they are only 3k behind right now, so they are catching up.
So what I like about that particular play, not only did the team fight go very well, there was some very good silences. The first silence was enough to cancel a position reverser. It doesn't prevent the bonuses of the armor and the magic resist though, so at least Dub's Dread was able to get a little bit tankier for that fight. We had a good slicing Maelstrom, and the silence, I didn't see if it was Kevin or Nif that had actually silenced Hexar up, but they delayed that Idol of Duran, and it ended up being a little bit ineffectual. The thing that's scary about that, if Dub's, My Brownies are able to get off a good combination of abilities, it may actually be a complete whitewash team fight. Now all of a sudden, the damage coming up from Kevin is a lot lower. Position Reverser pulls him backwards. He is going to go down. The Chain of Corruption manages to lock up a bunch of the champions. The slow does land onto Candy Panda as well, so Phoenix has rejoined the fight. Decimate trying to come down. Noxian Guillotine is still available for Blawn. He's going to be the next one to fall, so that's 2 kills once again. Slicing Maelstrom now coming out, and unfortunately, the flash from Deadrian too strong, and he gets away.
It was very close, but they still had out of the run, so they will be able to make a good team fight if the three people think they can go in on this. But I don't think that SK will try to go back in. So it looks like My Brownies have a very good chance to roam around the map, push every lane they can. Only the top lane is pushing towards them at the moment. So they've got fairly good map control. They've got 2 out of 3 lanes pushing the way they wanted to push. And
all of a sudden, SK Gaming are on the back foot. The goal difference is now 1,500, which is negligible at this point. They've fallen behind on kills. And yes, they do have all of the frontline towers down for my Brownies. My Brownies have won every single team fight since the 17-minute mark.
Actually, apparently, I'm reading the chat at the moment. It looks like they are having some lag. And Dubstride is saying that that his E is landing 3 seconds after he shoots it.
I must admit, 30 minutes into the game, after you start to lose, I would also develop lag as well. Just saying, you know, just saying.
Actually, he's actually said, Dubstride is saying it, and they are actually starting to win. So that's kind of interesting. But it was Kenny Panda who brought it up first.
So, well, we don't get latency bars as spectators, unfortunately. So I can't tell if there is actual lag on the server or not. But I see we've jumped up in viewer numbers. Thank you for everybody stopping by. This is, of course, the RaidCall Play Cup. This is the second League of Legends Cup that's been hosted. And we're down to the top 16. Ooh, while I'm talking about that, Nif may get caught out. Tempest and Cripple. Is Phoenix going to follow up with that kick? Nif is thinking about moving. He's going to flash over the wall to get away. And, of course, this is a single elimination. We're down to the top 16 teams. The final will be best of 3. These are all best of 1 games. And teams are playing for $500 in cash, as well as a whole bunch of ride points.
How much did you say? Sorry, I missed that one.
It's $500 in cash, or $500, and a I think it's $20 worth of RP per player as first prize, as well as the MVP is going to be able to pick himself up a I can't remember the name of the brand of the backpack, but we'll throw that up after the game.
Yeah, the MVP vote is on Facebook. We'll throw that up after the game as well. But so at the moment, I'm taking a look at items, and as you said before, Big Ego did pick up his Abyssal Scepter. And there's actually also an Abyssal Scepter on Haxer, which is kind of strange because that does not stack. So that's kind of weird. Because it doesn't give magic penetration, because if it did that, then it would stack on the 2 of them. But it's magic resistance reduction, and that doesn't actually stack on enemies. So that's kind of a weird pickup there. I think one of them should have gone for a different item. I think Picky Gold should have gone for Zonias or a Rylus Crystal Scepter.
Well, the thing about that, the reasoning behind it is just to get that ability power as well as the magic resist, because Castanen is dealing so much damage. They do end up trading towers, but an interior middle tower is way more valuable than a top level tower. So SK, even though they're a little bit behind, at least in terms of the game, they're playing the map and they're playing the objectives correctly. So my Brownies are going to be very, very careful about that.
Actually, top outer tower for them is pretty useful because it gives a bit of Baron control. But yeah, interior mid tower is definitely more important, and I don't think they're too happy about that trade. They did go back immediately, which was a good call, because they would not have won anything out of a base race.
The thing that was smart from my Brownies as well, they didn't get overly aggressive. Yes, they had Baron buff, and yes, they've been winning a few team fights, but the Baron buff and the stats and the gold that it gives you, it just put them on par with SK Gaming. They knew they were behind, so when they put them on par, they didn't get overly cocky, and we see they're setting up for the Baron respawning. I think it's a bit early. I think it's only coming back around 34 minutes. Maybe it's 33. My timing may be off, but we'll have to see. And notice, there's a giant hole in the floor. I've never seen that before. That's the first time with the new textures.
That's actually pretty cool. I hadn't seen that before.
Well, let's see if it spawns. When it spawns, does it actually come out of the ground?
That'd be so cool.
Oh, well.
I'm gonna ignore everything and just wait for that.
We'll have to try keep
there's fog of war now. Why do they not warn this?
I think if you go for full vision, I don't know, I can't remember what the keyboard shortcut is, but you can actually pull fog of war off.
Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, here it is. There's a button. It's F. Okay.
Oh, there we go. So, chat, we asked this question right at the beginning: who was going to win, SK Gaming or my Brownies LoL? 3,000 gold difference right now. My Brownies, they've been winning the team fights, but they don't have the map control. Who do you think is going to be victorious? Let me know what chat.
If you choose DSM from now on, you will get banned.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 1, 2 bans. Nah, just kidding. But please don't do that. It's really annoying. We want an honest answer from you.
So very, very good team fights coming out from My Brownies LoL. A very long range Q coming out from Phoenix. Resonating strike all the way down the map. And nothing coming from it. So they are going to start the Baron buff. And it doesn't look like SK are even aware of this. There's no reaction from them in the middle.
We have an actual full-on split between people thinking it's CSM and people thinking it's or not CSM, SK, obviously, and My Brownies. But their Baron does get picked up, and out of the Baron picks up 2 people.
Now the pressure's going down. Blorn is trying to put some hurting down as much as he can. He lands the Apprehend, not going to be able to pick up that Guillotine or any kills, so it's a 1-for-1 trade thus far. Blorn and Hexar have gone down. Now they've turned their attention to Dedrian. Now all of a sudden they're a long-range Resonating Strike from Phoenix once again, dashing over the wall after the flash gets procced. If Glub's Dread can land one of these Acid Hunters, it may be enough to put a slow down. There's the slow that they were looking for. One more may be enough. Is it going to go? Unfortunately not. But once again, a 1-for-2 exchange and a Baron buff going the way of My Brownies LoL. Are we going to see SK Gaming dropping out of a tournament early? Earlier than expected again?
I don't know. I think it's very cool though that they are winning the team fights. I'm not properly biased, but I'm kind of hoping they win just because of the upset. I think it would be really cool.
Well, I'd have to double check the name, but I think SK Gaming went out to Eclipsia in the DreamHack qualifiers, if I recall correctly. So they went down a little bit earlier than they should have. And at the moment, the team composition and the abilities that benefit one another is stronger for My Brownies LoL. We do need to point out, though, it took them a long time to win that previous fight. Yes, they've got the survivability to survive the burst from SK, but if they get caught out of their positionings a little bit wrong, SK can easily win a big team fight because they've just got so much more DPS.
I'm talking to Navi at the moment, telling them how long we're going to take, but right now I reckon there's going to be 2 or 3 more team fights, and then I think the game will pretty much be over, unless it's like double knockouts and they have a double ace, or something close to that.
I think the determining factor right now, I mean, look at the goal difference. We're down to 500k at the 36-minute mark. Farm-wise is fairly even across the board. Kennan's still pretty far behind, but balanced out by Rexar's bonus over Kevin. Varus in the bot lane is significantly further ahead than Urgot, but 2 Barons, Dragons, it balances all out. There's the gold graph for anybody that's interested. I think the team that wins the next team fight, or at least the next 2 team fights, is going to be able to roll away with it. Both team has the ability to take down towers very, very quickly, and if a team can come out strongly, three players, maybe a carry and, one stronger, maybe top lane, for example. Oh, the Apprehend does catch Phoenix. They are going to put some damage onto him. Cripple goes out in the background. Kevin's trying to take out Durex, but it's not the end of the world if Durex goes down early. It's going to depend on the Slicing Maelstrom and the Idol of Durand. Slicing Maelstrom is going to be all that's required to take out Blorn. Now we've got the Paranoia. Dedrian's jumped forwards. Hexar still has the Idol of Durand available, and they didn't even need it.
Yeah, he didn't have flash up, otherwise he would have definitely flashed and caught 3 people. But honestly, I don't know why Kenny Panda used his Chain of Corruption onto Durex. That was really strange. Because he was completely isolated, and the thing does spread. As well as the fact that if you're gonna snare one person, it shouldn't really be the support, because that's not a very important
If you're gonna use an ultimate on a champion, don't throw it on the support champion.
I don't understand. I mean, obviously he's a better player than me, but that was kind of weird. And they are already going to be going for Kenny Panda. CC goes down multiple times. There comes the out of the run. So, Kevin going very low. Does ult away, but isn't going to be enough. And he will go down. Durex actually picking up the kill.
I do want to say this. I wanted to say it right at the beginning of the game, but I wasn't sure if it was 100% right.
And there comes the surrender vote, actually.
Yep. Darius, Varus, and Cassidon. You know what? Yes, they may not know My Brownies LoL and the teams that they play, but I don't know about the picks. It wasn't necessarily the strongest team composition, and once you actually got to the team fights, My Brownies LoL superior in pretty much every team fight from 17 minutes onwards. So GG to them.
That was really well played. I'm very happy to see an upset like this, and I hope they do well in the tournament, just because it's freaking awesome they beat SK. So I'm looking at the damage dealt, and they are actually way behind, but I want to look at the damage taken this time. You can see they've taken a lot of damage, but it doesn't seem like they
look at
took as much
that.
damage
Look
as
at that. Candy
dealt.
Pana's damage dealt so high. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, the Fnatic Play Cup. It is shoutcasted by myself, Quickshot, and C-Zone, Chaos TV in the background as well, and the ones that are providing the streams. We are going to be jumping into game number 2, which is going to be My Brownies LoL versus Na'Vi. But in the meantime, I just want to show you guys the